happening, which is pretty amazing. Hello everyone, I have my notebook here. Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming to my channel. I am Cassie. This is the justcassie.com YouTube channel, and today I will be talking to you about a very exciting project of mine, I should say, because I'm a Capricorn and everything in life is a project, which was actually the birth of our beautiful daughter Amaryllis, and have been promising to talk to you about her birth for a while now, and there has been a huge demand on Instagram, which I was very surprised about this. So as I say, my motto these days is done, that done is better than perfect, and today is the only day that I somehow managed to find time. Antonis is here, kind of like minding the child, the baby, and I got like 10 minutes of my time to talk to you about this exciting period that we went through, and to talk to you about my positive experience, my positive birth experience, and the fact that I'm actually 37 years old triggered a lot of questions, because I'm a first-time mom, and this age seems to be very old for some, not for me. Amaryllis today is 7 weeks old, so everything happened back in August. I had her. I was 38 weeks pregnant, so she was 2 weeks early if we consider the 40-week like a pregnancy. It's a full pregnancy, let's say. She was full term, and it all happened on the 15th of August on the morning when my water broke. It was just a normal morning. I wasn't expecting it to happen that day because my due date was the 29th of August. I have to say that the day before, I went for a very long walk in town, and I actually was feeling very heavy, and I was feeling that my appetite was coming back, because before the baby was very high, so it was kind of like pushing my stomach and I couldn't really eat properly. So everything happened on the 15th of August. Everything started on the 15th of August. So Antonis left for work that morning. He kissed me goodbye. I went back to bed because I was feeling very heavy, and suddenly I felt like I peed myself. So I went to the toilet. I realized I didn't actually pee myself because I made a mess on the bed and everything, and I just called the hospital just telling them like what happened. And because I was kind of like very casual, saying, oh yeah, I think I peed myself, but I think my water broke. I'm not quite sure. And she goes, okay, just keep an eye on the color of the water, of the fluids, and then just let us know. And I'm like, oh, I actually kind of like wet the pillow and the sheets. And she goes, okay, you have to come into the hospital now. So I was like, okay. Then I called Antonis, and I'm like, I think my water's broke. They told me to go in, and I'm like, do you want to join me? Do you want to come along? And he was like, yeah, maybe I should. We were completely clueless at that time. 15 Αυγούστου, τι ώρα είναι?
Ξέρω, πάει λάθος, 10-11 το πρωί, 10 και 10,
10 και 8 ώρα Ιρλανδίας. Μάλλον έχουν σπάσει τα νερά μας. Τραβάω τώρα, τι κάνω, τραβάω. Έχουν σπάσει τα νερά μας και πήραμε τηλέφωνο το νοσοκομείο και πάμε να μας δει η μαμί. So we went to the hospital. I had no contractions, no pain whatsoever. So we went in. We were very happy and very ecstatic that the baby was coming. But I have to say, my bag was not ready. My hospital bag was kind of ready, but not 100% ready. So because she was 2 weeks early, and I wasn't even near the thought that she was gonna come early. Anyways, so we go to the hospital. They take me in. They examine me. They kind of like put this thing around where they check their pulse and everything, and I had no pain whatsoever. I was like calling my mom, taking pictures. I was so close to putting things up on Instagram. I was like, I'll just keep that now for ourselves. So everything was very casual, and the doctor, actually my doctor was on holidays, because I went privately here in Ireland. I chose a private consultant, but he was actually on holidays, and then somebody else would do the delivery. So they called the doctor on call. He comes in, he introduces himself, and he says that if you're not in pain at all and you have no contractions, then if you want to stay in the hospital, you can do so, or if you want to go home and then come back, and if you have no contractions whatsoever, we will induce you the following morning. Long story short, I'm like, I want to go home. We live pretty close to the hospital, so I'm like, I would love to go home and, you know, kind of like go through the contractions in my own space, feeling more calm, and then come when I'm ready. He said that was fine, and so we did. So we left the hospital around, that was 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. We left around 11, 12. Everybody said to me that I should eat curry, I should walk, I should do lunges, squats to get the contractions going. And they said to me, you have to watch a romantic movie to get the oxytocin going, and do loads of cuddles with your husband. I'm like, no problem at all, we can do that. So we left the hospital, no pain whatsoever. We came back home. We decided we'd probably have had a small bite or something, I'm not quite sure. We went for a walk near the park, where I did a lot of lunges and squats, and, you know, tried to walk around. And we actually went to the supermarket. I did a laundry, like just random things. I was absolutely fine. Around 6:30, and while we were like out doing all these errands and like walking in the park, I felt like a mild pain, like the beginning of a period, let's say. And I have to say that no one ever told me like what a contraction pain feels like. I've always asked people, saying, you know, what are contractions like? What do they feel like? And everybody, like, no one really ever mentioned that, you know, contractions is like having a period pain, and a contraction is like having a period pain. I have to let you know, so you actually know what this is, what they feel like. So I started having like those mild period pains, which were absolutely fine. We came back home. We actually put, you know, I was kind of getting excited and kind of like texting people, and I had all my books and my manuals on what to do when the pain comes and how to measure them. And we're downloading the apps to, you know, measure the time. And I had the yoga mat there ready and the birthing ball there ready. I was just ready for the contractions. I was like, bring it on, I can do it. We had the positive kind of like environment set, like the candles and like the music going on. And at some point, because the contractions were not coming, we just decided, okay, we'll just put an episode of Suits on and just kind of like start watching that. But as the time progressed around, and I was in the meantime was doing the laundry, I was putting the washing, it was just a bit of a crazy evening, but still loads of excitement. Like my contractions started to come. So that must have been around 8 or 9 in the evening. So that's when I went on my mat and started kind of like doing all the breathing that I had, that I was taught at my antenatal yoga classes, like the deep breathing, breathe in 6, breathe out 6, breathe in 7, breathe out 7. Now in the count of 6, in the count of 7. So I could kind of like relax and calm my body and be aware of all the pain, the contractions that are coming. But mind you, the pain was mild, so I could still kind of like walk around and be in the house and with no panic. And it was 20 or 25 minutes apart, so we were managing pretty okay. Suddenly, I don't actually remember the whole type of phase. Suddenly the contractions started to become sooner. So it would be like every 10 or every 15 minutes, and then it would get like the pain would get higher and higher, but it was still manageable. And through the breathing and the birthing ball and everything, you can still manage it. But at some point I was kind of like walking up and down the house, because I felt that I had to be walking up and down. Like my bag was ready, I was ready, I was basically just ready for my body to say, now you have to go to the hospital. I have to say my contractions were not perfectly timed, because I was expecting, like we were told in the hospital that we should go in when the contractions are like 2 minutes apart or 3 minutes apart, that we should go straight in. I went in way before the 2 minutes, probably was like 7 or 5, I'm not 100% sure, because at some point I wasn't able to manage the pain. Like it was manageable, but it was a lot. So I was like, I don't want to experience this by myself. It's my first time, as my first pregnancy, my first baby. I need to have the experts there. So that happened around 11 o'clock at night. So we left the house around 11:30. 11:15. I was like, I told to Adonis, just, we need to go now. Like, there's no way that I'm gonna go through this here. This is Amaryllis on the background, very nice. So we left, went to the hospital, and we checked in, and we went straight to the delivery ward. They checked on me, and I thought with the amount of pain that I was having the baby right there and then, that the baby was coming. I was like, yes, this is it, I'm having a baby now. Little did I think, the midwife goes, oh, your cervix is just softening. I'm like, what is this? Like, are you serious? Is this just softening? I thought I was 10 centimeters dilated, but yeah, this was the case. And then she goes, would you like to talk like painkillers and and pain relief? And she goes, we have Panadol, we have Pethidine. I was like, what is this? I have a Panadol. I had a Panadol already. Didn't do anything. But I'm like, okay, give me another 5-10 minutes and see how I go, because the contractions were coming and going. So it's not that it's constant pain. It's just a pain for like a few seconds, and then you have to breathe through it, and then it goes, and then it comes back. But because I was like, I'm not gonna be a martyr, as they say, for my baby, and for, we're leaving 2019, epidural it is. And then the nurse came, and I was like, okay, we might as well just do the epidural. So the anesthesiologist came, we did the epidural, which you have to say like really still when they do it on your spine. It doesn't hurt at all. You don't feel a thing, and it usually kind of like you get to start feeling the the effect after 20 minutes. That was where everything went kind of wrong. The epidural was not a success. So what happened was, after the 20 minutes that passed, half of my body was numb, but my right side was not numb. Like, I could feel the contractions here on my right hand side, but not on the left. So that was weird. And on the left hand side, I could feel like my face kind of like not going numb, but just kind of like feeling very heavy. So what had happened was, my epidural was actually moving upwards instead of moving downwards. Yes. So they decided to kind of like rock me on the right hand side to get the medicine going on the right hand side, but then that didn't really actually work. They decided to actually put me moving downwards, but then kind of like this didn't work. And then they decided to stop the epidural altogether. So that was the point that I was like, oh my goodness, why is this happening to me? I had an epidural. Why am I feeling the contractions? So yeah. But then I remembered all the positive thinking and all the positive affirmations that I was kind of like reading through my pregnancy, and all the YouTube videos that really helped me. And I'll put here the link of the YouTube channel that I used to watch while my pregnancy. It's the Positive Birth Company. This woman is amazing. I don't remember her name, but she's amazing. She has amazing YouTube videos, so you should go and watch them. So I started remembering all these positive affirmations and thinking to myself that every contraction will bring me closer to my baby. So this really helped me a lot through the contractions. Of course, I had the gas. I don't really know if it worked or not, but it kind of like helped me with the breathing, which was really positive. So as I was saying, the fact that my epidural was not successful, it actually helped me through the actual delivery, because I could feel the contractions and I could guide the doctors and the midwife. And I have to say, at that stage, it was in the room, which was very peaceful and quiet, because it was kind of like dark, and it was nighttime, and I had my music there on the background, and it was just Antonis, myself, and the midwife. That actually helped me a lot with my mindset, and helped everything kind of like take a natural have an actual flow. So around 4 or 5 a.m., I'm not 100% sure of what the time was, I started feeling shorter contractions, which that meant that, you know, I was dilating, and, you know, everything was kind of like starting to happen. So at some stage, maybe it was 5:30 or 6, I'm not sure what time it was in the morning, I started having a feeling that I wanted to go to the toilet. Like, I started having a feeling that I really wanted to push, and that I really wanted to go to the toilet. And you don't really get to feel that if you have a full epidural that is successful, because you don't get to feel it because you're completely numb. But because my epidural was not 100% successful, and I was feeling it half on the one part of my body, I could actually tell that this is the moment I need to push. So I tell my midwife was lovely, Emma. So I tell Emma, I really need to push, I really need to go to the toilet, we need to do something. And she goes, oh my God, Cassie, if you need to push, then the head is coming down. I'm like, is it? So are we having this baby now? And she goes, okay, let me just check. So she checked, and I was like, Emma, just give me some good news. I was so excited when I felt that I wanted to push, that I really knew that this baby was coming out right there and then. So she checks, and then she tells me that I'm 10 centimeters dilated. So I was ecstatic. I was so happy at that stage. And I'm like, and I just asked her, you know, so how long till I have the baby? And she goes, well, it really depends on, you know, it could be up to 4 hours. I think something like that, she said. And I'm like, Emma, we're having this baby now. I was so determined. I was literally remember saying to her and like motivating the midwife that I'm having this baby now, no matter what. And the baby came out 28 minutes later. That probably took me like a few pushes, and the baby was out. It was amazing. The baby was just out. So the midwife goes, just give me 2 tests, and I wanted to see how you push. So I did that, and then Antonis was there kind of like helping me. And when they actually said they could see the head, and then when they said that the baby has hair, I felt so motivated, and I just kind of like pushed for my life, and the baby was out in 2 pushes. And it was actually, I was watching all these YouTube videos about the ring of fire, and how painful it will be, and how it's a pain of a different level. It wasn't like that. Like, it was actually, I felt relief kind of like pushing the baby out, because it just kind of like felt really natural. I have to say, the doctor arrived at the very last moment, and he just did nothing. Like, he was there making sure that everything would be fine, but he just kind of like didn't touch the baby at all. He just delivered the placenta after. He congratulated him for being a very good performer, and after that, everything was like perfectly fine. Everything was perfectly fine down there, and I had a very easy recovery. This was the only time that I could manage to film this delivery story. I'm not sure if I've done the right job in filming it, and like kind of like putting the facts together. I hope I did. I'm actually grateful that I actually managed to find the time to film this, even if it's a very quick video on my mobile phone and not on a good camera. But it's done, it's filmed. This is my story. Never ever let anyone scare you about pregnancy or deliveries, because there are so many stories out there. But you have to think, and you have to always consider that every pregnancy and every delivery is different. And yeah, this is the positive note of the day. I have to wrap this up because the baby is crying. Antonis has cooked dinner, and I need to go and feed the baby and feed myself and get everything prepped. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. Thank you so much for staying till this time to watch it, for staying along. Don't know what I'm talking about now. Please subscribe. If you have any comments, any questions, please put them below. I'll be happy to answer them. And thank you so much. Mwah.